Lucid had one goal: to take on German luxury automakers, and even though the Air was immediately compared to the Model S, it wasn't Tesla that it wanted to steal drivers from. It was Mercedes, Audi, and BMW. Of course, the company is happy to take customers away from Tesla, but really, it's pitted the Lucid Air against the S-Class, the German luxury sedan. And while we've driven the Grand Touring and the Grand Touring Performance, both of those are actually quite pricey. This is the Lucid Air Touring with a starting price of $107,000, so it's a slightly more attainable Lucid Air. This pits this version of the Lucid Air with the upcoming EQS 450 with all-wheel drive. So how does Lucid Air compare to a comparable Mercedes-Benz? But let's first talk about technology. Lucid is obsessed with efficiency. The Lucid Air Touring has a range up to 425 miles from an 88 kilowatt-hour capacity pack. Now that is with the 19-inch wheels. Today we're rolling on the 20-inch wheels, which have a range of 384 miles according to the EPA. Meanwhile, the comparable EQS 450 has a range of 340 miles from a 107.8 kilowatt-hour pack. So if you sort of put those numbers together, yeah, this vehicle is a bit more efficient. For a lot of complicated EPA-tested reasons, in our range test on a cold day, this Air Touring gave us a range of 325 miles. Now remember, cold kills range. But even with the hit of driving on a cold day and of course the larger wheels, the Lucid Air Touring gave us 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour. That means for every kilowatt hour that's available in the battery pack, we could drive 3.7 miles. Meanwhile, the EQS 450 in the best conditions will give you 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour. So even with things going against it, the Lucid Air is more efficient. Then there's charging. The Air Touring will charge at 250 kilowatts, while the Mercedes-Benz EQS tops up at 200 kilowatts. Now, the reason the range and charging metrics are so important is that luxury car buyers want to minimize the amount of time they spent pulled over charging. Driver's assistance wise, well, Mercedes has a huge head start in that realm, and also it's one of the best on the market. Their lane centering is top notch, their adaptive cruise control is great. Lucid adaptive cruise control, it's good. Their lane centering could use some work. That said, this is still a new car company. These cars have only been on the road for a few months now, but every time I get in the car, their adaptive cruise control and lane centering has improved, so they are working on it. Up here up front, yeah, that is LiDAR. Lucid is one of the first automakers to equip all of its vehicles with LiDAR. Now that is in addition to radar, to cameras, and to ultrasonic sensors. Uses all of those sensors in order to make its driver's assistance system a bit better, and also better for the future. It's adding this hardware now so that as its software catches up, it can deliver a better driver's assistance system. Inside, Lucid has gone, well, less giant screens like we've seen in the Mercedes EQS with the Hyperscreen, and more just traditional touchscreen display right here. But in addition to that, you also get this secondary screen down here at the bottom. This top screen has a pretty minimalistic home screen. You have navigation, you have media controls, you have phone, but really most of everything that you're going to be doing to this vehicle, all the controls, all the settings, it's all right here in this bottom screen. Again, Mercedes has a more mature system, and its voice assistant is better than Amazon's, which is what Lucid is using. Still, Lucid has made strides to make the system better. It's now quicker thanks to a recent update, and the design is what you'd expect from a luxury brand. As for the driving experience, like the other Lucid Airs, this vehicle is quick, it's fast, it's smooth. It is a delight to drive. It's essentially a sports sedan and a luxury sedan package. This one only has 620 horsepower, which is a lot actually. But the Grand Touring Performance, you're talking over 1,000 horsepower. But it'll do 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, which is plenty fast for, well, everyone. You don't need to go 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. And if you do, you can spend the extra money on the Grand Touring Performance. Interior fit and finish, well, it does feel like a luxury vehicle. You have this nice wood material right here. You have this pretty nice canvas. You also have Napa leather, which you'd expect in almost every luxury vehicle at this point. The seats aren't quite as plush as what you would find in a Mercedes-Benz, but they are comfortable. I found them to be, well, surprisingly comfortable during long drives. There is one thing though, I do wish these seats were about an inch lower. As a tall person, it feels like you have to scrunch down a little bit more than you should to get into this vehicle, and I feel like I'm sitting just a little bit too high while I'm driving. Here in the back though, well, first off, you have this door that opens up to 90 degrees, which makes it easier to get in and out of the vehicle. I will say that the seats in the back are actually more comfortable than the seats in the front. And because this vehicle has a smaller battery pack than the Grand Touring, you have a deeper footwell. In the Grand Touring, there's battery pack under here. In the Touring, there is not, so you have a more comfortable passenger experience. And when it comes to design, well, there is no contest. The Lucid Air looks much better than the EQS. Plus, you get something that you don't get on the EQS, and that is a frunk. The Lucid Air has a 7.1 cubic foot frunk that includes this top layer, plus a little cubby hole under this false floor. So yes, the Lucid Air Touring is a proper luxury vehicle, and it does indeed compete with German sedans. But it's not an apples to apples comparison, because automakers like Mercedes have been around for over 100 years, and there are different approaches to what luxury means, especially when it comes to the interior. The Lucid Air Touring delivers pretty much everything we like about the Grand Touring, but in a less expensive package. It has a smaller battery and less power, but frankly, 600 horsepower is more than enough for everyone, and you're still getting a very nice luxury vehicle. For more automotive coverage from the outside of a World War II bunker, be sure to subscribe to Engadget.